An unsettling change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the Forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what, and how little, they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Charlian's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Okay. I think I already attuned to that aetheryte over there. I returned by the way of Kite's experimental aetheryte, yet I must say it was far less taxing than our first attempt, and apparently we need only ask if we wish to use it again. Now, I'm not terribly eager to repeat the experience, but if you're willing to test your ethereal fortitude for the sake of technological advancement, then who am I to stop you? Is that like how you can get back there if you don't want to pay? The conflict between Nidhogg and I is in the past, and though they were brothers, it has no bearing on my view of Ritra. Above all else, he is a leader of men, not an enemy. He would hardly dedicate his life to this endeavor if he bore our kind any ill will. Ritra and his alchemists have prepared us for our foray into the tower. What we may accomplish within its twisted halls remaineth to be seen. That Arcasodora languish in Telephoroi chains doth forewarn us of the nature of our foe. 'Tis the gods of Thavnir who will be summoned to thwart us. So the Magus Sisters in there, I'm guessing. Oh my gosh, what are you wearing? My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface, like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Gubal Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Y'shtola and Rahat to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Alphino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of these subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they've found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Alright, let's go! Let's go! And somewhere deep inside this place, Grahatia is saying, I knew it. This star still has secrets to tell. Take care, my friend. Just kidding, I don't know if that's happening right now, obviously, but... I'm assisting my colleague in his hunt for research materials, specifically a thesis by Moonbrita. But it's difficult to find any one tome in a library of this size. Wait, should I put on my Charlian glam? Oh, were you looking for a specific volume? Only Archons may check out forbidden tomes, but if there's anything else you require, simply say the word. Brightly colored book. The title on the spine reads, The Story of Charlian. Read it, yes. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadin man by the name of Njonkrepf. Njonkrepf was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Njonkrepf's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Njonkrepf wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship safely atop Abalathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Njonkrepf gathered to him, his crew, and his grateful passengers, and abandoned the Ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Sharlayan we live in to this day. Roads of Old, the colony. Many years ago, on the banks of the Thaliac in the Dravanian hinterlands, a Sharlayan colony once thrived. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th astral era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. This book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Sharlayan motherland in greater detail. Okay, so that one was not the right book, I guess. Oh, there's like a shit ton I can read. Okay. I am rather in the middle of something, so if you wouldn't mind leaving me to my research, thank you. Why is everybody here such a dick? Wow. I'm just trying to make some friends. I am in a place that I don't know very well. The voice of a growing city. In the years which followed the founding of Sharlayan, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th astral era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of governance. What is that walking around? What the fuck was that? Hello? The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the forum as we know it today conceived and created. That was relevant. So rifling through materials, are you? Ooh. Unfortunately, I'm struggling, to find the right tome, I think it said. An introduction to the heavens? Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Kryl should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mention the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare, and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlian, yes, but I was born rather further away. Stop! You're really gonna eternal wind me right now? In the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavnair. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces. But Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoenus. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allaganai no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allaganai, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louiswa, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, his ears, and why I wish it to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear, another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Trifling. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Tenacious. More company should be arriving any moment now. What else do I know of Corvos? Precious little, I'm afraid. I have not returned since Master Galuf first brought me here. I can tell you that Corvosi rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have carpets. Flying carpets. The legends are quite extraordinary. There are others better suited to poring over old history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with more recent events. If I can find anything to better inform the Forum's baffling behavior. Bastion, what are you doing? We've returned with our selections. Although I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Kryl has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral calamities as well as articles written by prominent Forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarot firsthand, and I fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now, where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? A complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion, meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. I mean, it's kind of like summoning. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Y'shtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Oh, look at... Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? The keening sound from the land itself. Okay, they say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. Ah, yes, the Amarotines spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarot was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Oh, it was mammoths in there, okay. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiark. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venat and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telephoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Ooh. Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Y'shtola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right then, enough chatting, more reading. Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway. Oh, Y'shtola. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflections from the Jerun oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, the tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal Library. 'Tis even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fortuno with knowledge of the Telephoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Tenacious is like so taken aback. You labor for what feels like an age as Y'shtola's research assistant. Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. I found naught of interest so far. I think Y'shtola might be right about not getting our hopes up. Your efforts to gain Grahatia's attention go unnoticed. He appears to be lost in his reading. Oh dear, you look exhausted, but what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mammoth at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Well, I did find one paper focused on the world before the advent of the first umbral calamity. But it reads more like a work of fanciful fiction than an actual academic supposition. Alright. Okay. A seat at the last stand appears in desperate need of a study break. Okay. Ready for a tea break, Tenacious? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables, and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. Okay. As busy as ever, I see. How very Charlian that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average city has to say about the Telephoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Yay! Come on, Alice. What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Telephoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear, and... Wait, you're that House Leveilleur girl, aren't you? And this woman with you is obviously a foreigner. I'd heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Tenacious. What a dick. Is this person gonna be mean too? Please don't be. An Ellison lady, come on. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telephoroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Leveilleur. My apologies, but I work in the offices of the Forum, and if word reached Master Fortuno that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Ooh, a cutscene. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mr. Zalize I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the last stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alfino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately, there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? No. It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Leveilleur. No matter how discreet Master Fortunato may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Charlian has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Charlian, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? So IRL? I was a server for like 5 years, so... That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck! Wait. No, I don't have my glam! I had a glam that would have been... Oh, wait. This is perfect. Okay, wait. The tea is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. Would that be here? Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. The Telefo who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them, or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Okay, Gisla is omelet. Ah, finally. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. What? The Teleforoi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the last Gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. God's the anticipation. I've heard it melts in your mouth like the most succulent roast ever made. Urbane banter with a smile. What? At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. The final days? This is the first I've heard of it, although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Teleforoi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before. Not like this. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Yes. Kind of. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dakin had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the Forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of coffee I promised. But let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Everyone looks so nice. I love the music so much. Yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been. How being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Charlian is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual?
Yes.
Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Are we allowed to go there? A labyrinthine descent. What? Are we gonna go to Labyrinthos? Okay. We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenon and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. My loyal assistant returns. There's a lexicon on the first floor that I need you to... Ah, you found something, haven't you? Where's Alize? I thought she was with you. Is that coffee I smell? Did I miss the tea break? Welcome back, Tenacious. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Do not skip that. Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. We always just stand in such a perfect circle. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Y'shtola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Tenacious and Alize learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Leveilleur is wholly... Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Leveilleur is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. What should we expect down there? Although the third option was tempting. Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. What? Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I don't know why I just tried to pull him out. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Off we go then. Okay. Now we run. Try to keep up. Yeah, let's go. We cross this bridge. Okay. Ooh, someone's fishing. Up here. This way? This music is fantastic. Look at the moon. The rostra. Not far now. God, look at this place though. Sorry, I was taking in the sights. Please don't tell me I went too far behind. Okay. Here we are. Through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. I think I'm attuned to everything here. The rostra. Oh my god. Look, we're going down. We're like really going down. Oh my gosh, I am so nervous. You knew? It'll take me a while to check all these, so you go on ahead. You didn't take a wrong turn into the rostra there, did you? I doubt the forum would take kindly to you barging into a private session. I've not been to Labyrinthos in the longest time. Even as a student, my visits were few and far between. How did the forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much did they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully the answer to at least one of these questions lies below. Welcome to the Hall of Artifice. Should you be looking to descend into Labyrinthos, the lift here will take you there. You are a pretty Ellison. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go. I'm excited.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation.
Look at the caracals!
Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Oh my gosh. This is so cool.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
That's so cool.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Wait. Okay.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
The unison nod. Kryle. Is she doing the echo thing? Her echo thing?
Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
I'll be fine, I'm sure. Listen. That's not the way plot works, Kryle, that we're concerned for you now. Is there an aetheryte in Labyrinthos? Wow, this area is huge. Oh, a fresh face. That's a rare sight. How might I help you, newcomer? What do you do here? Simply put, my job here is to record and classify the Gleaner's acquisitions, but the work's anything but simple. We collect all manner of items here in Labyrinthos. Ancient scriptures, artifacts, rare specimens, you name it, odds are we have it. And all of that needs to be inspected. What kind of place is this? This is Upper Ekrinthos, Labyrinthos' primary storage facility for materials delivered via the lift. Here we identify and sort said deliveries before they're sent onto the Archeon or another facility for safekeeping. You might say we're a service entrance for Labyrinthos. Not looking forward to transporting all of this, but I am looking forward to a nice drink afterwards. Most of those gathered here appear to be gleaners. Why don't you wander around and try making small talk? Let me think. The Rhea seeds should be item 1058, cumin seeds 1059, snurbbleberry 1060, or were they 1061? Ah, my head feels like it's stuffed with moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do this all at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the Kurthan carrots for the Girabonian carrots? What then? I only just started as a gleaner, so I don't mind handling menial chores. Any experience is good experience, right? I'll do whatever it takes so that one day they'll trust me with those veteran requests that take you all over the world. You're here to help or give me more headaches, because you don't have the look of a gleaner and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Exhausted gleaners. Those little devils are quick as sin and twice as hard to catch. I suppose I had better start searching. Sorry, buddy. That sounds awful. This is for Aporia. This is for Thomazane. Fascinating, but could we go back to what you were saying earlier? Excuse me, are you a gleaner? If you don't mind, I have some questions to ask. Okay, talk to all of these guys. Although I didn't go get the after dialogue from Teve. Huh? So 2023 was Lanosian topsoil? Then 2024 was from Thanalan? Or the Shroud? Dude, this guy is stressing and like, I get it. I'm sorry, buddy. That sucks. Holy crap. This is amazing. Holy, what the heck? Oh my gosh, I love it. Nay, I am not shirking my duties. I've not been down here in an age and wished to get my bearings before I went bumbling about. From what I can see, however, there is not obviously out of place. It seems we shall have to resort to discreet inquiries as usual. Oh yeah, I can be on my mountain stuff out here. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books, and ore, and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They just did one a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Taking stock of Labyrinthos. My poor aching back. Ever since the summons came from the guild ship, I've been hauling endless stacks of supplies. My brain. My poor aching back. Ever since the summons came from the guild ship, I've been hauling endless stacks of supplies. Books or animals, you named it, I've moved it. Any luck, Tenacious? What tales did the Gleaners have to tell? So this grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right. The Forum is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. We would do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. If you're game, Tenacious, I have an idea. Am I gonna become a Gleaner? Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture said creatures, he might be inclined towards more friendly and enlightening conversation. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting! Okay. Hello? You wish to help me find the marmots? I've nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. The name is Aaronville, friend, specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Nagshan marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, catch them in this sack. Gently, of course. Okay. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot. Or you. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck. I'm so excited to actually go into this area. What is this thing? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I am so excited to, like, down there. Looks so cool. I want to go down there. Can I fall down there? No. A troll. How did you fare? I tracked down 3 of the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. I have it. Ah, there's the odd marmot out. Are you a bunny boy? Oh my god, you are. You're beautiful. Wait here a moment while I put our friends in a holding cage. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. Who tasked you to capture them in the first place? Why, the authority in charge of Labyrinthos. Now and in perpetuity. The same officials who've had us working day and night of late. The honorable members of the Forum. Who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. I don't know what the Forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. There you are, Tenacious. Is this the Gleaner you mentioned? The one who was looking for lost marmots? Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk, anyway? I am Kryl of the Sunsa Baldessian. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the Forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hoped that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? So we've confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I'd say that fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discovered when the operation was begun. The Forum contacted the Gleaners Guild ship and put their people to this great work some 4 days after the Telophoroi made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaner kept abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity. Thus, am I inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate? Altogether, it gives the distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telophoroi's declaration was what set it all in motion? It seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archeon? From there, we can reach the lower... What is happening to Kryl? Kryl, what's wrong? I am fine, truly. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeon. We followed the path east, through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse, or marmot was it? Anyway, 'tis the trolls you need to watch out for. I'm excited to explore more, but what the fuck? Kryl! What the heck is wrong with you? Oh, we're finally gonna make it to the Aetheryte though, that's nice. Oh my gosh, I love where this Aetheryte is. The vaults here house almost any specimen or sample that one might imagine, yet there still exists much in this world that remains unfamiliar, uncatalogued. Thus does our vital work continue unabated. Shut up, bee. Yes, can I help you? What do you do here? I am an archivist at the Archeon. I inspect all that is sent here to be stored and judge the threat they may pose. From cursed relics to disease-bearing creatures, we house some extremely hazardous materials. Such specimens must be kept securely sealed. What kind of place is this? This is the Archeon, a structure built for the purpose of safely and securely housing all manner of specimens, both animate and inanimate. Together with the literary archive of Numenon, it houses much of Charlane's gathered knowledge, a veritable treasure trove of mankind's accumulated wisdom. Hi! The wild creatures that live in these parts were brought here from foreign lands near and far, but we did not simply release them and hope for the best. Nay, much thought has gone into building a uniquely viable ecosystem. I'm very glad to hear that. This is the foremost material archive in Charlayan. I should love to explore its treasure shelf by shelf, but I fear we have little time for such indulgences. Were you caught in mist on your way here? The sprayers keep the air humid, so the habitat feels as close as possible to a natural forest. Don't worry about me. I'm hale and healthy. In fact, I'm beginning to suspect that... Nay, let's discuss this later. The investigation demands our undivided attention. Behold, the Archeon. As Numenon serves as Charlane's literary archive, so does this structure... house the city's wealth of material data. The architecture, too, is similar. This building you see is merely the upper entrance. An access point to the vaults, carved into the cliffside itself. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples and specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In a manner of speaking, the Archeon contains a physical knowledge of Charlane's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. Wait, do you guys say anything else now? Nope. Okay. Gazing into the Archeon with an appraising look. Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed into the main building and speak with the Custodian. Okay. Oh, people actually have side quests now, though. Okay, let's go. I am excited. Greetings. We are here to peruse the Archeon's vaults. Peruse. You are clearly not gleaners then. Might I ask your affiliation? We belong to the students of Baldessian, but is that relevant? I was given to believe that the vaults, those open to the public at least, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. This is really fishy. Not us, then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What, so this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time it will be too late, and we were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let us step outside for the moment, shall we? Students of Baldessian. All of these people are tempered. Labyrinthos is constructed in the shape of a mortar. This upper layer is called the Outer Circuit, and the Medial Circuit lies one tier below us. If they're going to close off facilities, then they ought to announce it. The students must be furious. The Forum must be wary of exposure indeed to so heavily restrict the use of public institutions. We are at an impasse. As we have no other leads, I should like to pursue this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. 'Tis likely that the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to ingratiate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. I've already helped some of them with some side quests. Except these some of them. Am I taking the lift? Oh no, we're just students. They won't let us into the Archeon, even if we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere, but it was wandering around Tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Oddest little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archeon is open again. Or you should probably... I don't know that them just like holding on to it is the best idea. I don't make the rules, but I just don't know that that's the best idea, honestly. It's fine. Are you in here? This guy already doesn't like us. What happens if I talk to the lift operator? The lift is unavailable for general use at this time. We apologize for the inconvenience. Alright. There you are. Bone-weary worker. What's that? Take you down the lift with me? Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and only now have I finally found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading out the gate. Sorry, I had something on my monitor. Heading out the gate there, though. Shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be headed down below after he's done with whatever it is he's doing. The music here is so whimsical. Ah, okay. Quiet, you'll frighten it away. Oh! I met you once. Hi. Oh, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is close. Very close. You wish to help me with this too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds, but the one I'm after today is the hornbill. Its feathers are green and its cry a very distinctive caw. Single it out and shoot it with this sleeping dart. Okay. The effects are short-lived, so I'll lie in wait down by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. What happens if I hit the wrong one? Its feathers are green and it... Okay. Well, you're red, so it's not you. Are you gonna caw? That says cuckoo. Whack whack. Are you gonna say something, large green bird? Objective failed if the wrong bird is sedated. Is it one of these little ones? But those are green and hornbill, but you're also green. Oh, you're finally cawing. Okay, it's you. It's you. It's you. Got him. I hope that's the right one. I thought from the start it was that one, but it wasn't cawing, so I wasn't sure.
Fair shot.
Oh my god, I
Nicely
love him.
done. Let me truss this one up and I'll make my way over to you.
Wow, okay, I'm in love with you. It's fine. No biggie.
There you are. Any new revelations?
My friend Aaronville is very hot. Oh. He can possibly also help us.
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill?
Correct.
I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a cleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
That's where we're trying to go, buddy. Can you help us?
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Can we go with you?
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
Please.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will of course follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the Medial Circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome, but consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
I hope we see more of this guy. I am a fan.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh. This quest will get Tenacious to level 82, and then she'll have her upgraded Holy and Glare. I'm so excited! Please don't come near me. Please, please, thank you. I appreciate that, Labyrinth Screamer. It's quite a name you got there. You too. The whole species, in fact. Or species? I never would have noticed this cave on my own. Thank the scholar that Aaronville knew of. That Aaronville knew of it, and that you were there to persuade him to share. I took a quick peek inside, but it's awfully dark in there. The Medial Circuit, which Aaronville mentioned, is the tier directly below us. Unlike the lowest level of Labyrinthos, with its rigid security, one can usually roam the middle layer quite freely. Let us see what we might find. This must be it. The entrance to the mine shaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed there by the researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Look at it! That is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Man-made though it may be, the shaft was designed to resemble a natural cave system. Heed Aaronville's warning and do step carefully. Okay. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, then I say we head on in. Given the terrain ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. Oh, I just realized I can test my new glare out over here. What are these? Oh, mithril cap? Are they like mushroom enemies? That's pretty cool. That mineshaft was infested with mithril caps. Some sort of research project, I wonder? I suppose they are a most unusual creature. Why did they develop such long limbs when all they do is shuffle about narrow tunnels? I was being careful, I swear. The slope was steeper than I thought and I lost my footing for a moment, that's all. I'm not injured if you don't count my pride. I bet you that thing happened to you again. Tenacious, did you know Kryl almost took a tumble back there? She can't possibly still be dizzy from the lift. Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And as promised, the tunnel has delivered us into the Medial Circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Aaronville's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. My memories of this place are a touch hazy, but if we keep to the path heading north, then we should eventually arrive at a farm of some kind. Okay. Oh, look at these slime things. But they're made of leaves. Interesting, I love them. I love this place, it's so cool. Listen to this music too, it's just so good. Aha! Now I know where we are. This is Medial Agronomics. Medial. Labyrinthos is a host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. More notable successes might make it to the Agora. Foods so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed, mystery vegetables without a name, only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. 'Tis possible they know something of the Forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same, or cast about for useful clues. The gourds we grow here are something of an agricultural wonder. We've crossbred varieties from all across the realm to create pumpkins that are sweet, sizable, and rich in nutrients. I'm having a really hard time reading. A field full of ripe vegetables being left to rot on the vine. Not a single picker hard at work. Clearly procuring readily available fresh food is not the Forum's priority. No two corners of the world cultivate the land in the same way. My research involves poring over the many texts gathered by the gleaners to produce something altogether greater than the sum of its parts. I'm told this cart holds the harvest meant for the larders here. Nothing out of the ordinary. Stray garlic. Oh, it's not often you meet someone here who so obviously doesn't belong. Can I help you with something? Tell me about yourself. For now, at least, I'm the second most important person in this facility. Now, you may think I'm shirking my duties, but even at this very moment, I am envisioning how we can improve our methods. Gazing upon this watermill calms my heart and clears my mind of unnecessary thoughts, leaving room only for brilliant ideas. Even so, inspiration takes time, and today it seems to be slower in the coming than usual. What kind of place is this? Medial Agronomics is where the finest agricultural minds gather to research plant specimens from around the realm and the methods by which to cultivate them. The plants grown here are also used to feed the people working in Labyrinthos, straight from our fields to their tables, fresh as fresh can be. Jebk. Oh, hello there. We weren't expecting visitors, not with the use of the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here anyway? The mineshaft, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the Forum has us filling order lists a malm long. Massive yet detailed requests, literal wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation and was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. We're trying to find out too, buddy. I hope that we're able to. Seriously. Seriously, because things are not looking good. And so you spent years researching these high-yield cultivation techniques? Of course, the light of the artificial sun is not so brilliant as the real one. However, it allows us to grow crops without having to worry about inclement weather or changing seasons, making the results of experimentation much more consistent. Do I have aught to be taken down below? More than I can carry and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift, but some has been earmarked for aerial transport. Hence the stack of crates atop that hill over there. Gods, hauling the lot up that slope was a job and a half. I'll just take the things down below. If you really need somebody, which it sounds like you do, I'll do it for you. I am from the Custodian, here to gain practical knowledge of how to cultivate fungi. Being in the outdoors does have its advantages over those stuffy stacks of books. What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one is a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising given that it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled. A region in the south of Ilsebard. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for a myriad of flora and fauna to thrive. Chilly peaks in the north give way to swaths of temperate plains, which in turn transition into a hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. Used to be called Corvos before the Imperials renamed it Locus Amoenus. The Forum saw it not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments in cultivation. Okay. Investigate the stacked boxes. I will. Tenacious is running for her life. Okay, time for Paladin Tenacious to come out of the works. We need to see her. The labels on these crates tell the story of their contents. Bundles of common seeds and saplings accompanied by sheaves of reports. Reports. Okay.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
I'm kind of in love with this guy.
Have you learned aught of interest?
Matoya's music?
A flower that reacts to one's feelings. Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we've failed to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaean? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Who cares? The world's
Ours
ending, bro.
alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryo?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
The heck is going on with Cryo?
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Heidelin? I'm just throwing a guess out there. I don't... Oh dang, I was hoping Cryo would still be over there so I could... Forgive me, my attention has been elsewhere. We were following Erenville, weren't we? Let's get after him already. We've waited too long as it is. It feels wrong to spy on Erenville, helpful as he's been, but what other choice do we have? Is Cryo still feeling unwell? I've never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Did you see which way Erenville went? No. Okay. Erenville was headed westwards along the path outside of the Archaean. Come, we can still catch him. Alright, let's go. Hopefully we can finally get some juicy info. Oh, can I go this way? Alice, why did you go the other way? Also, I'm gonna get on a different mount, because that's like the worst one. We've fallen too far behind, and this damned mist won't help matters. I can still hear it. It seems Y'shtola wishes to have a word with us. Is it about Cryo? Because we need to talk about Cryo. Hold a moment. I have an idea. If memory serves, that colossal wall-like structure is Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate control centers. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper or lower tiers. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Erenville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Goodness. Yes, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Unaccustomed to transfiguration? Worry not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you're as likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. In order to progress, oh my god. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Alfie Toad, Allie Toad. Yeah. Oh my god, that is the funniest shit I've ever seen. I would have enjoyed being a toad for a little while, if only for the change of pace, but Y'shtola is right. I am too preoccupied with other matters. Can I change to White Mage? In this state, it says. This is the— oh my god, and Darren! Can I G-pose? Shut the fuck up. No way. Darren, get over here. Oh my god, perfect. I've never taken such a good screenshot ever before, ever. This is the best G-pose ever. Come on, Darren. Allie Toad and Alfie Toad. I can't. Gotta avoid those guys, I think, right? Oh, I see it. Okay. Where's Darren? Okay, there you are, buddy. Discuss your surroundings. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Allie Toad turns to face the north. Perhaps she's suggesting you cross the bridge. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Alfie Toad attempts and fails to shake his head, but you nevertheless understand that he is telling you this is the wrong way. This is the best thing that this game has probably ever done, ever before, ever. Ever. I am so happy. This is so fucking cute. I cannot get over it.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands.
Good for you.
We are
Telling
not
them.
familiars to be exploited. We are Charlayan scholars and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Charlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge.
What?
I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our
How
best
does he
interests at
know?
heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
He's so good. Our toad performance needs work, apparently. I'll have to pay more attention the next time I see one. I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived, yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle, this momentous duty the Forum agent mentioned. Charlian has been called to action, and the Telophoroid's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. If we happen to cross paths with Erenville again, I should like to thank him properly. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Kryl for the moment, see what they think of this. You know, when I heard we were getting Bunny Boys, I was like, we better get Bunny Boy NPCs. And this Bunny Boy NPC is amazing. He's so good. I think he's gonna be... I hope he continues to be somewhat important, because, like, he's proving to be more than just a passerby side character. At least so far. It's funny how normal the forest seems now. As a toad, it was also much more ominous and threatening. Where's Kryl? Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville then? Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryl, then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm, she was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. She's back. Oh my god. What the hell?
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you.
What?
Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest.
God, this is so good. This version of Answers is
After
so good.
Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you.
And another who may have a part to play.
Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will.
What?
That bloom
will be your guide.
Test and proof of
Pure
your conviction.
Oh my god.
In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress. You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Oh god, no. Oh, fuck.
Master Fortuno? What business has the Forum with us?
Oh my god.
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean Custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
What?
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities.
Alphato, that's a lie.
Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Wait, Grahatia?
But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Did he find something?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
I thought he could read those because he was an Archon.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous. Oh my god, poor Graha.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order! This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
Why don't you two have to wear hats? Put your hats on.
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work.
We've done nothing to interfere with it.
They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the
Whoa,
Seventh
Cryo doesn't
Dawn.
have her hood on.
These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large.
Involved?
Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
Yeah. Take that.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd.
Oh my god.
From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there's no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
He literally can't say it?
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections.
I like this guy.
Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
He's right, though.
Order! We will have order! Master Montaigne raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Charlian.
The fuck does that mean?
You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
How many is that? This seems really inefficient.
I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
Do you know who the fuck I am?
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
I could use one holy right now and the entire room would be blown up. I did not, okay. What the fuck? Thank the gods for Scholar Montaigne. I absolutely loathe arguing in circles. My father may be right, that I am still groping in the dark for answers, but I needed him to know that I would never stop searching. I owed that much to Arnvald, and myself. No, not yet. Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city, and our endless investigations have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the ethereal sea. With our freedoms so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Charlian. Hold on, I gotta talk to. You may encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. I believe in the guiding principles of the Scions, and I know my grandfather would have as well. I apologize for the trouble I've caused you. I was pondering the significance of what I had just read as I left the restricted section, and knocked over the security mammoth on my way out. I promise to be more vigilant next time. Don't be sorry. Seriously. We shall have to think very carefully about how we are to proceed from here. Dissatisfaction. The overall picture has grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may, is Father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Alphino, Alice, it is you! When I heard you'd been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I am so very glad they allowed you to stay. It's their mom. Mother? pretty Ellison girl. Améliance Leveilleur at your service. And you fine people must be the scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please, we don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches Father that you were here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking with my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortuneau are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go, visit your home. We will be back at the annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Tenacious, what do you think? Tenacious? The Tenacious Bree? What a splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. But we must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Tenacious, if you would be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. Do I get to walk with Alice and Alphino? And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. Yay, I'm so glad that their mom isn't being a shithead. I'm sure Alphino thinks nothing of it. He invited classmates over all the time, but I wasn't the most... It was a different time for me, alright? I apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I am glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Tenacious? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us on our visit home? Of course I will. Fine, if we're going, then let's get it over with. But be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room was always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood toys. I mean, never mind. Leveilleur estate is that way, straight down the stairs. Come on. I'm trying to see if I can get them to turn. So I can take a nice G-pose with them. Hold on. No. They look so mad. When Alize and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. And now look at us, traveling to different continents, different worlds even. As children, Alphino and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long because I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. I'm really excited to go in here. Améliance. I love her name. I love her. She's so sweet. I'm glad that she's kind of like, oh, your dad? Yeah, fuck that guy. You're my kids. I love that. I love it so much. Bro, can I talk to you guys? Oh. I can, but... After all we've been through together, 'tis strange to be here with you now, to come full circle and see how much has changed. Aw, that's really wholesome. Leveilleur Estate is in the northern part of Journey's End, just down the stairs from the rostra. Oh, and please don't make a fuss when we get there. It's only a house. We're right here, Alice. And here you are at last. Please, do come in. She says at last, and it's funny because I laughed off, like, before this happened last night, so. The music!
Welcome home, my lady.
Aw. I hope we can explore the house. I imagine there will just be cutscenes though. But I could be wrong. Tenacious.
What? What are you gawping at?
It's really nice. Oh, sorry. I'm just admiring the craftsmanship.
Oh, I suppose I never gave the decor much thought. I'm glad that you approve, I think.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit.
Perfect.
And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you would accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
That girl's voice kind of sounded like Kryl.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations.
I had something on my glasses, sorry. Okay. Just went the best I could, sending Scion's coin and other such donations.
Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid.
I love her.
The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
It's a good thing the twins aren't here because they would be so embarrassed.
'Tis plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them.
I would literally do anything for them.
Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Would you like to hear what happened with the forum just now? I love Tenacious.
When you mentioned gifts,
new
I wasn't sure what to
outfit!
expect.
Oh my gosh!
Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
I love when people get new outfits.
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alpha.
I'm so happy. Is this where he's gonna
Naturally,
do sage things?
You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits,
precious,
I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
Look at you!
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you would allow me, Master Alphino.
Are these gonna be his weapons? Is he really just like becoming a sage right now? Ah! He is! Oh my gosh! This is so cool.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father. Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless.
Oh my
Thus
gosh, I'm
did
so
I
happy.
pull them
Look
out
at
of storage,
them.
to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry.
Aww.
I am told these devices are quite difficult to master. But someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb.
Oh, this is so good.
May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
Is that his dad's soul crystal, I wonder? I would imagine it is, right?
I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortunato has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
I love her.
Oh, Mother.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
Aww. Look at Alfie, he's a sage now! I was wondering how they were gonna do that. Oh my gosh. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice. As with these tokens of home that we carry with us, these gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Alright, cutscene where we decide what to do now? Where we're gonna figure some stuff out? I'm ready. I love the music in here so much. For us to feel responsible for the schism of House Leveilleur would be pure hubris. After all, we are merely on the outskirts of what is essentially a family affair, and yet neither can we claim the indifference of strangers. To hear their mother welcome them so warmly was a joy and a relief. As curious as I am to learn the truth of this duty, I wonder what else the Forum is hiding. A calamitous secret whose origin lies in the ethereal sea. Duplicity aside, however, I do not believe Master Fortuno means us ill. Even the harsh words he had for his children stemmed not from anger, I think, but desperation. If I intend to master these sage's armaments, that will mean learning to imbue them with the same ether that I poured into Moonstone and Obsidian. 'Tis difficult to grasp the essence of such an entity. For me, it will help to think of the Noliths as... Oh, that's what the weapons are called, right? As allies in battle. Simply a new form of the energy which went into manifesting my carbuncle companions. Don't think for a moment that I'm jealous of Alphino's new weapons. They're far more suited to him than me. We left for Eorzea in matching outfits, but our styles, both fashion and fighting, have long since diverged. If anything, I'm proud of the differences between us. You're not allowed to be anything besides a red mage anyways, Alize. Enjoyed your time with the Leveilleurs, I hope? I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope we can help them to reconcile with their father that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide, and the flower bequeathed to you by Hydaelyn is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once we've heard your report from Thavnair, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move.